have with me Johnson Verghese, Managing Director of Fossil India. Thank you, Johnson, for joining us.
Thanks, Nitin. It's absolutely a pleasure to see you back here.
So, Johnson, the perception for e-commerce, especially in India, is that it is a high growth channel, but profitability not as yet. But Fossil India has proven that there is high growth possible along with profitability as well. So how did you manage it?
That's a great question for one reason, because I think it's been an evolution, and I don't think we were as clear about everything that at the point of time we started. We actually got into the e-commerce business quite early. 2016 is when we launched e-commerce in India. And I guess we were learning like everybody else in the business, trying to learn and figure out what was right. But I think there were some elements of our business that we thought was core to our business. One is that we are a fashion-driven company, and the consumer determines what is fashion. Two is that I think from a consumer point of view, I think the consumer wants to look at experiences irrespective of where they buy from. They want to see consistent experiences across. And we thought that was very important. What does Fossil as a brand, or in our case, there's a whole plethora of brands. We've got 8 brands in the country today, all global brands. What does that brand mean to the consumer, and what is the consumer looking for from the brand? And we thought it's very important to ensure that that touch point, whatever that message is consistent across every channel that we are in, irrespective of the channel. And that drove us to kind of evolve to the point that we are in. E-commerce is definitely where our consumers are going. Our consumers are going online. What we did in that process was work with each of the platforms and figure out what the strategy was, what was their intent, and what was the goal. We've recrafted our strategies, we've recrafted our product assortments, our marketing strategies to deliver what the platforms wanted. And I think one of the reasons we are perhaps where we are today is that we've been able to achieve that growth working along with the platforms pretty intensely at every level, not just in terms of having annual business plans and reviews, but also to the extent of actually a far more granular level of getting into operating systems, of getting into a consistency in terms of business, making sure that our plans were visible across the year. We are a category that has a long lead time in terms of manufacture. So we dovetailed all our partners into our cycle. We spent a lot of time. I think our partners have a fairly decent understanding of our business today as much as we have, because we spent so much time explaining our business model as it stands. The net resultant of all this has been that we've been able to get all channels growing. We've been able to get the e-commerce channel being profitable. That is because we've got products that are aligned with that drive growth. The one common principle that we've applied across is that when the consumer sees our fashion products for the season, they see it consistently in a certain form, both in terms of how it's visually presented as well as what prices are, etc. And so the look and feel is consistent irrespective of the channel. Beyond that, we've gone into working out strategies that drive growth with every individual player. And I think it's the sum total of all of this, and of course a lot of time and effort and energy spent, and very receptive partners who've got us to where we are at.
So if I have to look at 3 things which you've done. Number 1 would be the consistent messaging across channels. Second is working in a very collaborative and very closely understanding each of the channels. What would be the third big thing you would say?
I'd like to add 2 more actually. We've continuously invested in our brands in the country. And you can see that in the form of celebrity endorsements. We've got celebrities on board for Fossil, for Armani Exchange, for Diesel, and we would probably have celebrities coming in for some of our other brands also in the country. So we've continuously invested at various levels for the brand.
And you had local celebrities?
We've also had local. In fact, we are one of the few countries where we brought in local celebrities. We've normally only dealt globally as it were as a global brand, but we thought that India was right. The time was right to get in local celebrities, and we've done that for India. And the other addition that we've done is we've constantly experimented with technology. We are fortunate that Bangalore is such a hub of innovation. So we've kept aside a certain portion of our budget purely to experiment. We are not looking at results. We're looking at what's new technology, what is it that can help us, and we've hard-coded that into our system. So we ensure that we keep testing out new stuff. If there's something great that comes out of it, of course we carry it forward as part of the plan. But the intent here is to experiment. And I think that's extremely important. We're looking at a new world here. We're looking at where technology can completely change what we're doing. And I think we need to be abreast of that. So I'm not saying we are where we want to be, but we've tried very hard to keep being abreast of that technology.
So you are now the market leaders in the wearable watch category. So how do you intend to maintain your leadership and consolidate further?
We're one of the few watch companies across the world that actually got into the smartwatch category. Most fashion watch players or traditional watch players kind of shied away from technology. Fashion's pretty far away from technology. But we truly believe that if consumers are going towards technology, we redefined our position in the market. And our position today is that it's fashion plus tech. Just because you're interested in technology doesn't mean that you've lost your sense of fashion. So what we tried to bring together was the concept of fashion plus technology. We invested early. We've got smartwatches and connected technology in all of our brands today. So there's all the brands, every brand that we have in India has a smartwatch or a connected platform to operate with. The last IDC report for India says that we've got a 30% market share. So we are number one in terms of market share for connected watches in India. And I think that's definitely going to continue to be a growth engine for us. For the simple reason that we are a young country, with the population being as it is, tech savvy, fashion forward, and pretty much globally traveled, at least based on the consumers that we have. We're going to see that continuing to explode and continuing to grow. So a very critical element of our growth plan is going to be the connected part of our business, which in India is very, very strong. Actually, Fossil India is the number 2 country in the world for connected watches.
Wow.
In the Fossil world.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that.
Which is pretty amazing because that's not what we're best known for, but that's where we are today.
So what's next for Fossil in India?
2020 is going to be an interesting year, I think. It's going to be interesting because on the one side you have global headwinds. You have, from our side, we have a whole plethora of global brands that we will continue to bring forward. We've actually launched 2 new brands last year. We launched BMW. We've launched Elle, which is a ladies brand, both international brands. We will have new brands across in the year 2020. Our smartwatch capabilities have improved. We are shortly going to be launching or have just launched our hybrid watch, which is with a heart rate monitor. That's doing fantastically well. We are currently on our Gen 5 in terms of technology for Fossil watches. So that's going to be part of our growth engine. I would believe that with the market the way it is, there's great opportunity for us in all the areas of business that we're doing, both in the traditional part of our business as well as in the connected part of our business to explore and grow. We are not only watches, by the way. We also do jewelry. We also do Fossil leather, and you're going to hear more about that in times that we go forward. We are one of the few markets in the world that are growing at the pace that it is, and I think the focus is going to be on APAC and specifically China and India, I think, as we go forward in this year.
This was Johnson Verghese, Managing Director of Fossil India.